Okay, so I wanted to do a 2019 top 10 best games of the year, but also one from 2020. But I ended up really playing or liking, let's say, only like one game in 2020. So I thought a 2021 wasn't really gonna work. So I thought let's combine them. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make a 2019 and 20 top 10 best games from both years. But also there were just like a lot of games that I didn't end up liking. Either I ended up not playing them or I just started them and didn't really like them. So I also wanted to make a top 10 worst games from those years. And let's start with some mentions. Now that we're being negative anyway. So these are all games from 2020 and they're not ranked yet in the top 10, but they're just games that I'm gonna like mention. And the first one is Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. And I actually really like this game. It's a game that I might have put like on the list, but the thing is, I don't like the gameplay of Hyrule Warriors, so I'm really just watching a let's play of Age of Calamity. I've tried the original Hyrule Warriors and I didn't end up liking it that much. So I like everything from this new game, the Age of Calamity, and except for the gameplay. So that's why I'm just watching a let's play basically, and it's really cool because like there's extra cutscenes that feel like totally like they're from Breath of the Wild, and the atmosphere is totally like from Breath of the Wild, and it's like of course the sort of prequel of 100 years ago, and that's really cool. So I like everything about it. Then I also have Crumble, as I mentioned, and Crumble is an I guess it's an indie game. I mean, I haven't really done a lot of research on it. That's why it's mentioned. It's like 15 euros on Steam, $15, and there was a demo from it, and I've played that one. Ended up really liking the few levels that I could play, but I'm just not sure I'm really gonna buy it. But I did want to talk about it a little bit, because it's like I mean, it reminded me of like a Sonic the Hedgehog game in a way, because like it's a platformer and you have to go really fast and like you build up momentum. I guess that's not like in Sonic, but like you build up momentum and you keep going faster, and there's no real limit to how fast you can go, and that's really cool. And it's just good platforming, and it was fun. But I'm not sure I want to play the full game. Then also Doom Eternal. I tried the demo of the first Doom game, didn't really like it. I don't really like the zombie setting and like the action type of gameplay. So I thought maybe Doom Eternal would be different. It was on Xbox Game Pass, so I was like, let's just try it. It seemed more platform heavy. I like platformers. It reminds me in some ways of the Metroid Prime game, so I was like, it might be fun, but it's still the same problems from the first game. So yeah, that's unfortunate, but it's okay. Then there's a game called Scourgebringer, and it's an indie game, and it's basically described as like a combination of Doom and Celeste. So it's like a 2D platformer with like Doom type of music and enemies, but it has like the Celeste style of gameplay. And I don't think that's really true, because to me it was more like a roguelike Metroid game. And I don't like those games. I don't like roguelike games. I really dislike, like it's pretty fun to like play the first Super Mario Brothers game and to just die and have to do everything over. That's the style of that game. That's that era. But when indie games try to make those games now, it feels really unnecessary and it's just not fun. I just rather, and they often make pretty long games too. Like you have to keep playing those games over and over again because you die a lot, and it's just not fun. So yeah, I also played that on Game Pass, so it's like I wanted to talk about it a little bit, but it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. I also tried Spellbreak, and it's like a deathmatch game online where you play as with like magic and stuff, and it seemed fun because it reminded me of like other deathmatch shooter type of games, but it has like magic and stuff. So I thought that would be fun, but I don't know, it wasn't really for me. Then I also tried The Pathless. I actually bought this game on my PC for like 32 euros, and I played it for like 50 minutes and it wasn't my thing. So I got a refund for it, so that was really nice. It's from the same developers that made Apsu, and I tried Apsu once on Game Pass, and it was kind of fun, but I didn't really end up playing it more than like half an hour because it's just like a lot of exploring. And I thought the Pathless would be that, but more fun because I really like the bow and arrow mechanic, but didn't end up really being that way. I got stuck early on, and it seemed to just be one island, so there wasn't really that much exploring going to happen. So that was unfortunate. Okay, now let's really get into the 2019 and 20 top 10 worst games. Okay, at number 10, I have Shantae and the Seven Sirens. I didn't play this one. And honestly, I might like it if I played it. Um, but I really liked Shantae Half Genie Hero. The art style was really beautiful. It looked like kind of hand drawn, like it really felt like a cartoon, and it looked really cool. I really liked the style. I like the music, the platforming. But apparently, usually the Shantae games are more like Metroidvania games, and I mean, I'm a big fan of Metroid, but it's kind of rare for me to like an indie Metroidvania game because like it's never really as good as a Metroid game. They always try different stuff. So like I like the Ori games and I like Axiom Verge, but so far there haven't been that many Metroidvanias that I really like. Um, and with this one, the Shantae and the Seven Sirens, they kind of went back to the Metroidvania style a little bit that Half Genie Hero didn't have as much. And yeah, it doesn't seem as much fun. And also, it's actually an Apple Arcade game, so it's very simplified. You know, the art style is a lot more flat and less exciting. It also came to Steam and Switch and every other platform as far as I know, but it feels a lot less fun than Half Genie Hero was. A lot less effort went into it, I think. So hopefully they'll make a new one that's more my style, I guess. And yeah, it's just really disappointing that it just looks a lot less fun. I've watched a review of someone who is usually critical, and that's a good thing in my opinion. He wasn't too excited about the game as well, so it's not just me, and it's unfortunate. Then at number 9, I have Blaster Master Zero 2. I really like the original Blaster Master Zero, or like, I mean, it's a remake. Blaster Master Zero is a remake of Blaster Master. Blaster Master Zero, the remake was a lot of fun. Like, you could really tell that it's like a classic game, but it's remade into a very good game. But then with Blaster Master Zero 2, I thought it was just very samey, like very similar to the first game, but at the same time, just like a lot less fun. It just went on for too long. There were too many little planets and not as much exploring, and I just got stuck a lot. And I played it, I finished it, but I had to really force myself to finish it, and I didn't really understand why I didn't like it at times. But it's just because like I've played it all, you know, I've played the first game and the first game was better. So then at 8, I have Pacer, and Pacer is a futuristic racing game, and I really like those games. I mean, I should like those games because I'm a huge F-Zero fan, and I'm always looking out for futuristic racing games because I just really miss those types of games. But more often than not, they end up kind of being inspired by Wipeout more than F-Zero, and that's to be expected with Pacer because it's from a lot of former developers from Wipeout. So, I wanted to try it. I guess I kind of got what I expected, but the thing is that the usual Wipeout games are a lot better than Pacer. So I kind of like the Wipeout games. I'm not like in love with them, but Pacer is a lot less fun. So that was a bit unfortunate. I thought maybe they would do some things that were more unique from Wipeout, that they maybe couldn't do when they worked on Wipeout. So yeah, that's a bit unfortunate. But it's on number 8, so it's not that bad. Then at number 7, I have Clubhouse Games 51 Classics, or I think it's called something else in America for some reason. But yeah, that game, I had fun, but to be honest, only with like a couple of games. There's 51 games, and I only liked a couple of them. That's not very positive. It's still something that I sometimes like bring up when friends are over. I mean, friends aren't really over that often now because the pandemic and stuff. But if they are, it's one of the first games that I bring up. But still, you end up playing only like 2 or 3 of the games, and really you could just play it on actual cards or board games. So it's like 50. It was like $50, so that's way too expensive, and it's a bummer. I'm a bit disappointed with this game. At number 6, I have Super Mario Brothers 35, and really it's on here because it was limited. It's just ridiculous that it stopped in March of 2021. You just can't play it anymore. Even if you have it downloaded, it's just not up anymore, and that's just ridiculous in my opinion. And I had some fun with it, but the thing was also that you boot it up, you have to choose a level, and most people end up choosing the first few levels of the Super Mario Bros. Games. Because, a lot of people are playing it for the first time, or they're just looking to play like an early level to build up their score. And, I didn't end up getting that far because of that. And it's a fun idea, but I'd probably rather just play the original Super Mario Bros. So, it was kind of fun, but it's not like Tetris 99. Tetris 99 was really, really fun. Then at number 5, I have Super Mario Maker 2. I did really like the first Super Mario Maker. Um, it was really, really fresh and creative at the time. But with Super Mario Maker 2, it's just more of the same. So I bought it, and I kind of regret that I bought it because I've played it before, and I'm not very good at making levels. And also, I kind of really hate playing other people's levels because everybody tries really hard, of course, and they're very creative, but it's just not gonna end up being as fun as Nintendo developed levels. It's just not. And that's not a knock on anybody or anything, but it's just not as fun to play as normal Mario games to me. And a lot of features from the first Mario Maker have been removed, like the amiibo support. So I kind of didn't end up having as much fun with creating levels because, like in the first game, I did end up using the amiibo support, and so yeah, that's why it's at number 5 for me. Then at number 4, I have Untitled Goose Game, and it feels. I mean, yeah, it's a fine game, and I know a lot of people loved it, and I looked really forward to it. I had a lot of things to play at the time, so I was gonna wait on it until a friend bought it, and I came over. This was back in like 2019. She bought it, and I came over to try it, and I was kind of disappointed. I expected more of it. It was fun, but like after a while, it just got repetitive. So like after half an hour, I was like, yeah, I'm kind of done. So that's why it's at number 4. Um, at number 3, I have Call of Duty Modern Warfare, the new version. And it's funny because, sort of a spoiler, it's also on my top 10 best games. So yeah, that's kind of funny because like I did like it, but there were a lot of things that I didn't like. And what I didn't like was before the game came out, they told everybody there's not gonna be any paid content. You pay the game for full price, you get everything, and there's gonna be new content added over time. Well, there's some new free content, but most of the content has been behind a paywall. You have to subscribe to their subscription thing, and then you get a lot of new weapons, and you get like a lot of character skins, and you just don't get them for free. And it's just weird how they lied about that, or at least it felt like they lied about it. I guess maybe they didn't, but yeah, it's just unfortunate how a lot of things happened, and it makes me like really upset how things went. I don't really play it anymore, even though I had a lot of fun when it first came out. Then at number 2, I have Fire Emblem Three Houses. I played the first Western Fire Emblem on the Game Boy Advance one day. I don't think I've ever really finished it, but I enjoyed myself more than I expected with a Fire Emblem game. And I did really wanted to try Fire Emblem Awakening or Echoes, I think, the one with the dungeons on the 3DS. Those 3DS games seemed fun. But then, they announced Three Houses for the Switch, and I was excited for it to try a console version. But the thing that I didn't end up liking, well, I mean, first of all, I just realized like Fire Emblem is just not as fun as I expected for myself. But also, I just realized that the school campus thing that wasn't fun for me. You had to like do a lot of chores and help people around and get friends with them and stuff, and that wasn't fun for me at all. I just wanted to keep going to battles and stuff, and it was really difficult to just focus on battles. You had to do so much stuff around it, and I think I played a couple of hours, like maybe 5 hours or something, and there were so many limited cutscenes. Like there barely were any cutscenes. So yeah, it's just not what I expected. And it's funny that so many people are really positive about this game. Like a lot of people, they tried this Fire Emblem, and it was their first or whatever, or their first in a long time, and they were all really positive about it. And I don't really understand that. Like it's not gonna knock on anybody who liked it, but I didn't really think it was that good. Of course, I didn't play it that much, so I should have maybe kept going. But yeah, it just wasn't that good to me. At number one, I have Luigi's Mansion 3. Back in the day, I rented Luigi's Mansion a lot. I'm not sure if I've ever finished it because I was like very young, but I might have. And I'm definitely gonna play the original again. But every time I've seen like videos from Luigi's Mansion, it gives me a nostalgic feeling, and I think it's like a very good game. I thought the original game was like kind of creepy, and they had some scary moments, but not too scary. You know, it's all very cartoony, so it never went too far or anything, and that was perfect in my opinion. But then Luigi's Mansion 2 came out, or Dark Moon. I'm not sure in which regions it's called what, but Luigi's Mansion 2 Dark Moon. It was very linear. It was very goofy. Like it was all like kind of minions like. You know, it like really they did like a lot of funny stuff with the ghosts and stuff, and I didn't really enjoy that as much. I thought it didn't really fit the game at all, and it being so linear wasn't that much fun. The gameplay also just seemed to be less fun. I don't know. It was like easier to capture ghosts, and that was a bit weird in my opinion. So then Luigi's Mansion 3 got announced and was like it's super pretty. Like the visuals are great, and they seem to have like a lot more variety with the ghosts. And it seemed to be less linear. But I played it, and I kind of regret that because I think I got like halfway done with the game, but at some point I just gave up because like I got stuck a lot. Like you had to do super cryptic puzzles, even though it's less linear. You know, it's like in one big hotel. Still had to do certain floors, and like those floors were basically like little levels. So basically, it's still like Dark Moon to me. And it's like you have to do something very cryptic and specific to get out of the floors, you know, to beat those floors. And really, it's just kind of stupid that they just don't go back to like the original game. Like how the original game worked was like it's one big dungeon, you know, and it's like it has a lot of backtracking and puzzling. That's what I really like from Nintendo. Yeah, like in the Metroid and Zelda games, you have a lot of backtracking and dungeon type things. And that's really fun in the first Luigi's Mansion game. But then in the second and third, it's just so linear and so level based. So, you know, that's why it's at number one. Those were my top 10 worst games from 2019 and 20. I'm also going to make a top 10 best games from 2019 and 20, and that might already be out. I don't know what I'm really going to do, but I'm going to make that video, and yeah, look out for that.